James Barone here with Dan Budick, Lifetime. Dan, here to talk about the Vet League and our summer session. We're 3 weeks into it. Hit Squad, Ivory Bell, Sean Marshall have come out with a vengeance after last session and playing very poorly in the draft, and they didn't like it that much. They brought their squad back, the Larry Mullers, the Carl Roberts of the crew. They added Mike Venuti, the ultimate shooter. Tell me, they think they're number one. I think they're number one. I also have a few other thoughts on some of the other teams. Tell me what you think about Hit Squad and their new squad, especially with the likes of Mike Venuti.
Yeah, and also they added Gurin, too, to add some extra size to the mix. They really are the most complete team, I think, in the Vets League. When you talk about size, shooting, you mentioned Mike Venuti. He's unguardable. I mean, as far as this league is concerned, no one has an answer for how to solve his shot. When he is on, he's going to hit every shot, and he's unguardable.
You know, you speak about Mike being unguardable. I see all these teams, they try and play man-on-man.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
The Larry Muller is too big to get around, and when he sets picks, and when they set the double pick with Larry and Carl or with Larry and Sean pops or whatever, Mike runs around these screens. And if he's running to the right, like you say, he's nearly unguardable. What do defenses have to do? What do you think they have to do to guard that and to be able to beat this team?
You got to step up. You got to find one guy that you could put on him that you could try to stick with him, double team him. The only problem is when you deal with a team like Hit Squad and you want to double team Mike on shooting, you leave Dave open. Ivory could hit a shot from the outside. They're the most. That's why I said before they're the most complete team. And then you add the size they have, Gurin, Carl Roberts. They have size where they can pick up rebounds. So as far as this league is concerned, they seem to be that team that's just most complete and most ready to win.
How about a team that's on the bottom of the list right now, the Hooligans, who won the last session with the likes of Jay Harris and Prashad Snuggs and Jeff Rauch? They're 0-3 right now, and they're really playing poorly. You think they could turn it around? I know Jay was there, missed last night's game in a tough loss that they had. And do you think that with Yasha and Zeb, and if they have a full squad, do you think they're a team that can turn around and wreak some havoc in this league?
Yeah, but you mentioned their biggest downfall is getting it together and getting all those guys there. They have not been able to do it. They haven't been able to get Prashad, Jay, Zeb, Jeff Rauch on the court at the same time. And then you add in Yasha. Now you're talking about a team. But when you're starting to rely on Yasha to shoot the ball every time he touches it, and you got Jeff Rauch shooting the ball out, they were able to get Prashad in there. But Prashad has been a consistent guy to come to the court every week. So as far as they're concerned, I think they need to get all their guys together. And then you add Jay into the mix if he's there. Then they're serious contenders again. Because we saw what they could do when they're all there. They can win a championship.
Yeah, I've never seen Marcus Clark play. He's new to me, being in this league. He is a big man,
big guy,
and he likes to have the ball in his hands. And I think if Jay and Marcus can work down low and Jeff can work up top and Zeb is an unbelievable defender, I think they're a team that, even though they're 0-3, they are going to be scary
in the playoffs.
They're going to be very scary. And kind of brings us to a new point. We have not an expansion team. These guys have played together. The Warriors, talking about Tom DiMaselli and Steve Dukoff and Richard York. And, Richie banged his head yesterday a little bit, but hopefully he's okay. Let's talk a little bit about them and what you think their expectations are. They're 1-2. They've played very good games. Yesterday was a tough one for them. Tom was off. Richie wasn't playing that well. Ray Herrera wasn't playing that. They just had an off day. And so I kind of put that to the side. I think that's an outlier. Tell me your thoughts on the Warriors and what you see with this team.
No, they're a good team. And Tommy, we've seen when Tommy can score the ball and he's hot, I mean, he could be the hottest player in the league, in all of Lifetime, not just the Vets League. I mean, he's that good of a shooter. He's that good of a scorer. But we've seen times when he's off, they have trouble getting the ball around. They have trouble driving to the hoop. I saw, especially last night. Richard York, good player on the outside, but when he starts to take a lot of shots, and you're going to see what we saw last night. They're going to double up on him, and it's going to leave Tom open on the outside. But Tom wasn't hitting his shots last night, so they left him open and to take all those shots. So as far as they were concerned, I think if they could just play a little more consistency, but they played a good team last night. I mean, Jared and his guys played a hell of a game last night.
The Warriors lean a lot on Tommy.
They do.
I'll tell you, he's got one shot that I don't think anybody in this gym can defend, and that's right. He's almost behind the basket, on the side, on the baseline.
Almost like a fade kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
He really drives that team, and I hope that a guy like Richie or a guy like Steve who can work his way down low. And Steve is an absolute beast on the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm hoping a guy like that, they can kind of pull it together. And they have another big man in Ray Herrera. And Ray, again, we've seen him have his pump fake and go to the basket. He's got a beautiful layup. Hopefully they can pull it together. And I think they're a team that, again, they're in the I don't think there's a bottom tier. I think it's Hit Squad and everybody else, and I think they're in that mix of being able to compete with anybody, and if anybody has a good day, to be able to take Hit Squad down.
You know, and one thing I sensed last night is, where they went down early and they went down quick, they got frustrated. They started taking unnecessary shots to try to get back in the game. In the first half, you don't need to do that. We're not talking 4 minutes remaining in the game. We're talking 8 minutes remaining in the first half, where if you're down, on a 10-2 run to start off the game, you have time to get back in the game. And I think, though, last night they were jumping out of their shoes a little bit, trying to do too much.
Brings us to our last team in the Vet League for the summer is Hollywood, with the teams that we've seen before: Jared Wolfo, Adam Boxer, Adam Sutton. They have a great squad. I picked them last session to win it all. They got to the championship. They lost to the Hooligans. They're a team that they seem to get in their own way sometimes, and they missed Mike Seff yesterday a lot, and they still won by 20 points. But Mike is a game changer. They lost pretty bad the first week against Hit Squad. I don't think they were ready for what Hit Squad had to offer. I think they lost by 15 plus points. I don't believe they lose to Hit Squad again like that. I believe they are the second most complete team, and I love the way Jared plays. He can get to the basket. He gets to the free throw line. They might lack a little outside shooting, in my perspective, but I feel like, again, they might be that next tier, that next team next to Hit Squad that can give them a run for their money. What are your thoughts with that?
Well, I think they are the second best team in the league. Like you mentioned, Jared does a great job running the point for them. And they did miss Mike Seff last night. They miss his outside shooting, because you mentioned they lack outside shooting, and Mike brings that a little bit. But I definitely think they're the best team. They're the next best team in the league. And you mentioned they got blown out by Hit Squad the first week of the season. I think everyone's a little rusty the first week of the season. Even Hit Squad wasn't playing their best basketball. So that would be a heck of a rematch if we saw them to meet again in the playoffs or the championship.
We definitely will. Let's switch a little gears and we'll talk more personal. Give us one name, best player in the league.
I got to go Mike Venuti.
Mike Venuti from Hit Squad.
Yeah, Mike Venuti of Hit Squad. I think he's the best player in the league.
I'm gonna have to disagree, where I think Mike is outstanding, and Mike is an unbelievable offensive weapon. Unbelievable. I think your best player is Sean Marshall, and the only fault I have to say about Sean is he likes to take some plays off once in a while. He's a guy that if he wants to play, he could have eight steals every game, because he's very good with his hands, very quick. He can get to the basket on anybody. He has the quickest first step in the league, and his ability to pull up from 3-4 feet outside the three-point line, and nobody can guard him. I mean, athleticism,
absolutely.
I think offensively, you're right, Mike is, but I think athleticism-wise, I think it's Sean.
I definitely think Sean is a phenomenal player, and then they are a better team with Sean on the court.
Absolutely. And we saw that last night, where there was a close game.
In the second half.
In the second half, they blew him away with Sean.
They blew him away, and that was a huge reason why. Is it because Sean was there, and Sean is a difference maker. He is a difference maker on offense. I just think when it comes to who I think the best player this season's been, when I look at this season, I think Mike is just overall, when he's been there, has been a game changer from three-point range. I think that's
it was two games ago where Mike hit two. He was having a terrible day, and he hit 2 threes in a row to bring him, not only tie the game, but bring him in the lead, and they didn't look back after that.
And you know what? You know something else about Mike? Mike hits a shot, and the whole team goes nuts. They know that he's that type of player,
right.
And he's the type of player that's going to lift them up. Where if he hits two shots, it could be a 6-point swing. So I think that's why I love Venuti so much. I think he when Ivory told me before the season that they added Venuti, I said that's a heck of a weapon that you guys never had before.
Ivory asked me last week, he said, do you think we're the best team in the league? I said, right now I do. And he gave me a little bit of slack yesterday for that comment. But I want to clarify, right now meaning I really do believe these other 3 teams, they can pull in and they
Absolutely.
can close that gap. And, one good day by the Hollywood, they could win.
Absolutely.
And one good day by Tommy and Richie York, and they could win. And we've seen what Jay Harris and Jeff Rauch can do with that combo. And Prashad, if he's going to play consistently and come in for the playoffs,
Absolutely.
I think it's got to be a good day for these guys, and they've got to have a defensive scheme to be able to guard the Venutis of the world. Maybe it turns into a zone and you play 3 up top. I don't know, but it'll be interesting, and we'll see what happens with the rest of the league in the rest of the year.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dan.